Hi, I'm Jennifer King with Connect Artist Marketing. Thanks for taking the time to join me for this video. Over the years, I've met a lot of different artists who are all trying to market and sell their work effectively. I'm an artist too, so I know exactly what that's like. Some artists I've talked to are more than willing to do the work involved in promoting themselves, but they look around at other artists who are successfully marketing their work and they wonder, how are they doing this? How are they pulling it off? Other artists I know have reached out for marketing advice through programs or seminars or books, but they often come away from those experiences feeling overwhelmed by all the different marketing activities we're told that we have to do. You know what I mean? And then there's another group of artists I've met who've been in the art business for a long time, but they're realizing that the old ways of marketing aren't really working anymore, and they're feeling kind of lost. They just don't know what to do. And they're so busy making art that they don't really want to take time away from the studio to figure it all out. So let's be honest here. Do any of these feelings of confusion or frustration seem at all familiar to you? I'm guessing you must be somewhat dissatisfied. I mean, the fact that you're watching this video tells me that you're seeking a better way to promote your art. And that's why I'm so glad you're taking the time to explore this possibility. It means that in spite of your frustration or any other negative feelings you might have about marketing, you still have hope. You believe that there's a better way. And I'm here to tell you there is. I genuinely want to help you figure out how to market your work better so you can realize your dreams. By the end of this presentation, I want you to walk away knowing how to develop your own customized strategy for marketing your art. I also hope that you'll have recognized the need to have some kind of system in place for executing on your plan. Consistency is so important when it comes to marketing. And most of all, I hope you'll discover what's different about my program. I really can help you stop wasting time and get right to the marketing methods that work best for you. Now, before we start talking about the approach that I recommend, let's talk about you and your vision for your art career. Where do you see yourself maybe next year or in 5 years down the road? Can you see your work being sold in a few prestigious galleries selling for thousands of dollars a piece? Or do you imagine your artwork in a famous museum being admired by thousands of people, maybe even hundreds of years from now? Or maybe you'd like to be a master of the online universe, selling dozens of works through your e commerce site every month. Maybe you see yourself having thousands of followers on social media or getting featured in the New York Times or the Huffington Post. It's actually pretty motivating to picture yourself in these scenarios. But beyond that, what do you really want from art? Would you like to be earning your living exclusively by doing the thing you love most? Do you want recognition for your talent, for all the effort you've put into honing your craft? Maybe your goals are more about leaving a lasting legacy as an artist. All of these dreams are equally valid, and you can achieve them. But they all start with building awareness of you and your work among a dedicated, loyal following. That's what marketing really means. It's not about sales. Sales come later. First, you just need to be noticed. Even artists with mature careers still need to work at getting noticed among new audiences. So the need to promote and market yourself will always be there. That's why I named my marketing business Connect Artist Marketing. Success in the art world always comes down to connecting with the right people. The people who love your art and want to buy it, as well as the people who can promote you and encourage you. Connecting is essential. I'm Jennifer King, and in one way or another, I've been helping artists become more successful with their art for more than 20 years. I first started studying art marketing when I was an editor of the Artist magazine and then International Artist. I became so fascinated by marketing that I actually went back to school and got a master's degree in marketing. And then I apprenticed at a gallery in Cincinnati, Ohio. Since I am an artist myself, I totally get where you're coming from. I know that marketing is not your favorite thing, which is why you need a streamlined system that will get the job done right, right? So, part of my business is providing marketing services for other artists, actually doing things on their behalf. I've tried every approach I can find to build awareness for my clients, and I'm always on the lookout for fresh ideas from marketing experts both within and outside of the art industry. Some of these ideas work really, really well, and some just seem like a waste of time, so I've cut back or even quit doing them altogether. So today, I'm going to share some of my best ideas with you. Some things you can start applying to your own marketing efforts right away. Along the way, I'm going to share a framework with you that will link all of these marketing activities into a clear picture. I love this framework because for me, it has eliminated the frustrating, distracting clutter and given me a clear purpose for every task that I do. It's boosted my confidence to achieve my goals and my clients' goals. And now I want it to do the same for you. So let's go back to those goals we were just talking about. Your goals. You already know that to be successful at anything in life, you've got to go all in, to commit wholeheartedly. And you already know that for every one of your goals, you've got to have some kind of strategic plan for achieving that goal, right? But what does that word strategy really mean? Being strategic always sounds like a good idea, but how can you be more strategic with marketing your art? So, when I teach my workshops, I like to explain strategic planning by using an example almost everybody is familiar with. It's like a little metaphor, okay? So, let's imagine that your goal is to get in shape. How are you going to do that? Most of the time, people use two strategies to get in shape: diet and exercise. These are two separate strategies that often go hand in hand. Okay, so that's a good start. But when you think it through, these strategies alone are usually too vague to explain exactly how you're going to achieve your goal. So you have to get more specific. And this is where tactics come in. Let's take the one strategy of exercise and break it down into tactics. You have a ton of options, different ways to exercise, right? You could do yoga, for example, or you could start golfing, or you could take jujitsu lessons. But let me ask you something. Do you have to do all of these tactics to achieve your goal? No, of course not. You would pick and choose the tactics that work best for you. So maybe, for example, you can't afford to join a gym, so you decide to go for a daily walk instead. Then again, maybe you live someplace really, really cold or really hot, so working out at a gym makes more sense. There are all kinds of factors that influence your choice of the perfect set of tactics for your situation. Okay, so now let's say you've decided you're going to go paleo and start walking. In other words, you've got your strategies and your tactics. But when you get up tomorrow morning, possibly with a bad case of bedhead, do you know exactly what you're going to do? No, not really. Because even with strategies and tactics in place, you still need a daily action plan. You need to look at your schedule and decide which days you're going to go walking and for how long, and when you're going to plan your meals and go grocery shopping, and all of those good things. So, there's actually one more thing you need to achieve your goal, too. You have to have some way to measure the outcomes. When it comes to getting in shape, you might look at your weight or your pant size or maybe even your blood pressure or cholesterol levels. You use numbers to check your progress. And if you're not getting the results you want, you obviously need to go back and change something in your plan. Does this sound complicated? Like it or not, you know instinctively that this level of planning is what leads to success in achieving any goal, including marketing your art. This is how successful people in all areas of life do it. Now, I know that for some of you, this all feels way too left brain and analytical. For others, this makes perfect sense, but you're still wondering how it applies to art. So stay with me. I promise you, I'm going to make this super easy for you to apply to your own life, and especially to marketing your art. That's because some time ago, I came across a strategy that every artist can use to succeed, no matter what type of work you create, or what niche you're trying to fill, or what your personal art dream looks like. Are you ready to take some notes? So here it is. It's called the funnel. You may not have heard of this, but marketers use marketing funnels to organize their efforts all the time. And you can use one too. As you can guess by the name, the idea starts by getting a whole big bunch of people to notice you. At first, that's all you're doing, just trying to get their attention. Once you've got their attention, you take some actions that will help these people go through a process where some small portion of that original bunch end up becoming buyers, or in your case, collectors of your work. Ideally, you will continuously be attracting new people into your funnel and moving them through the funnel process month after month, year after year. So, this is important. The funnel is just one strategy. It's like diet or exercise, it's one strategy. But this strategy can be broken down into four parts, okay? So, let me explain the four parts of the funnel. In the first phase, you use a number of different tactics or marketing activities, which I'll explain in a minute, to introduce yourself to people and to attract people who are interested in the type of work you do. The purpose of the second phase is to use a couple of different methods to capture their contact information. What you're after is their email addresses so that you can continue to communicate with them in the third phase. That's right. In the third phase of the funnel, you're going to build and nurture relationships with your followers. You're going to communicate with them on a regular basis and allow them to get to know you and your work. And in the fourth phase, if all goes well, your followers turn into collectors. Now, some people may work their way through your funnel really quickly and decide to purchase your work right away, on the spot. But other people need time to make that commitment. So staying in touch and communicating with them regularly keeps them interested while giving them the space they need to decide whether they want to buy from you. And of course, ideally, these collectors won't buy just once. They'll come back for more if you keep in touch with them and continue to nurture those relationships. Again, even though there are four phases, it's all one big strategy. But now we're in the same place that we'd be if we had decided to go on a diet, but we hadn't picked out a specific plan to follow. In other words, the four phases of the funnel by themselves are too general for us to use as is. So now let's get specific about the methods and tools and activities that will be your tactics for implementing each phase of the funnel. Remember, as I'm describing all of this, you don't have to use every tactic available to you, just like you wouldn't try to go on every diet program at the same time. These are all just options for you, and you get to choose the ones you want to use based on your personal preferences, okay? So for the first phase of the funnel, where you want to attract people who are interested in your work, I've got a bunch of different tactics you can use. There's one tactic, though, that I believe is an absolute must. You definitely want to have a great website. Your website is the marketing tool that's going to be working for you all the time, representing you 24/7. And these days, you don't have to be a technical genius to set up and maintain a fantastic website. There are plenty of web hosting services that cater to artists with templates made just for our unique needs. I also strongly encourage you to use social media to attract followers, but unlike many of the marketing gurus out there, I don't think you need to use all of the different social media platforms. Using all of them is too time consuming and not effective. Instead, I think you should choose the one or maybe two social media platforms where you're most likely to encounter the kind of people you're trying to attract. Another tactic to consider is advertising on social media, since it's really affordable and a great way to gain massive exposure fast. And if you're a relative newcomer on the art scene, I also really believe in participating in competitions where you can show your work in a group setting. Group shows offer so many benefits. Not only do they get your work in front of a whole lot of people who don't know you yet, but they give you a great excuse to get some media coverage, which will give you even more massive exposure. Regardless of which tactics you choose, always remember that every single one of these activities should be designed to attract the people who want to support you in your art career and drive them to your website. That's the overall purpose of phase one. For phase two of the funnel, you can set up a landing page or pop up windows on your website that you can use to capture your visitors' email addresses so you can keep in touch with them. Now, I know what you're thinking. This won't work because most people don't want to give out their email addresses. Well, that's true, which is why you'll need to come up with some kind of incentive, something you can easily give them as a reward for signing up. Even with an incentive, though, some people will opt out, and only a small percentage of your website visitors will sign up. But that's okay. Those who do sign up are signaling that they're already big fans of your work, and those are the people you want to focus on. On to phase three. The two most important ways to nurture your new and existing relationships with your followers are A, frequent messages on social media, and B, regular, as in monthly, e newsletters. I can almost hear you thinking, what? E newsletters? Yes! People are far more likely to read and respond to your marketing message when it's sent straight to their inbox. So, yes to e newsletters. When you're communicating, you want to do more than show them your new artwork, although that is the highest priority. You also want to engage with them by allowing them to get to know who you are as a person. Every gallerist will tell you that people are more inclined to buy when they know and relate to the artist at least a little bit. So share your insights, share your story, show them your studio and the stuff you're working on. Share the story of each piece of art. Make them feel like they're part of an exclusive fan club, your fan club. And of course, thank them for their interest and reward them with special offers. And again, only some of your followers will respond to these messages, but that's why this whole process is shaped like a funnel. You will lose a few folks at each stage along the way, but the important thing is to keep working at it so at least some people make it through to phase four. The fourth phase of the funnel is where you actually get to sell your work, and that's not really something you can force, but you do need to make sure you're set up for it. You have to make it easy for people to see and buy your work. That's why I believe that almost every artist website should be set up as an e commerce site, just in case someone wants to buy directly from you. But keep in mind that the more expensive your work is, the less likely first time buyers will be to buy your work sight unseen without some way to return it. So you should also make your work available in bricks and mortar galleries if that's possible, or at art shows, art fairs, whatever makes sense for you and your brand. So let's recap these tactics. For phase one, use social media, competitions, press coverage, and other tactics to attract people to your website. In phase two, use pop-up windows and or landing pages to capture your fans' email addresses. For phase three, use social media and or an e-newsletter to nurture your relationships with new and existing collectors. And in phase four, make your work available for sale in a variety of different places. By now, some of you may still be wondering if you really need this funnel thing. Okay, that's cool. So let's ignore that for a minute and just focus on the tactics. Does this look like the set of tactics you're currently using? Well, guess what? Probably without even knowing it, you've already created a funnel. But the advantage of looking at it from this angle is that we can see that one of the major links in the chain is missing. If this were your funnel, I'd say you needed to choose a tactic for capturing the email addresses of the people who visit your website. This is why I love the funnel. It reveals any gaps in your marketing plan. And I also feel like the funnel gives purpose to each tactical activity. Just to give you an example, it's easy to post pictures on social media and forget to include any kind of message. But when you realize that social media is about attracting new fans and also nurturing relationships with them, you start to appreciate just how important it is to include some kind of message. Want to know something else really cool about the funnel? This framework works for artists who are just starting out and focusing solely on the people in their immediate community. And it works for artists who are expanding their reach regionally, nationally, and maybe even internationally. Once you understand how the funnel framework works, you can use it forever. But here's the thing, although I've told you exactly what I think every artist should do to achieve his or her goals, and giving you some ideas for choosing which of these tactics you want to use, I obviously don't have enough time to tell you how to do all of these things. That would take us a couple of days just to get started. And I haven't really given you any kind of system for reminding yourself when you're going to do all these tasks. Which brings us to my little sales pitch. Yep, you saw that coming a mile away. But if you want to know more about how to market effectively, please hear me out. I've created a new do it yourself program based on all of the feedback and insights I've gained from working with artists just like you. It includes everything you need to develop your own strategic plan, including the tactics, a daily action plan, and the methods you'll use to chart your progress. I designed my DIY program with three objectives in mind. First, I wanted to create a program that shows you not only what to do, meaning the best strategies and tactics to use, but how to do it so that you can do all of this well and get good results. Getting noticed, building a following, driving more traffic to your website, these things can be a little tricky and they take some figuring out. But I've already done the legwork for you, and I want to save you from wasting time experimenting with methods that don't work. Second, I wanted to create a streamlined program with built in reminders to keep you motivated and focused. Because I admit, it's easy to get overwhelmed if you try to tackle everything at once. So I've broken it down into actionable chunks for you. And third, I wanted to make the whole thing super affordable. I get how tough it is to be an artist, so I want to deliver great value at a reasonable price. So when you sign up for my program, you're going to get access to a series of short videos that you can watch at your own pace that will teach you everything you need to know. In each of these video modules, we'll go step by step through setting up your funnel, choosing the tactics that are right for you, and performing all of these activities on a consistent, ongoing basis. We'll explore how to define your brand, how to build a great website at a low cost, how to use social media to attract and maintain a following, how to capture email addresses, how to set up and produce a monthly e-newsletter, and so much more. Yes, I admit that you will need a basic knowledge of how to use your computer, but I promise to make this all very easy for you with clear instructions. These videos will always be available to you, so you can refer to them as often as you'd like. When you think you're finished setting up your strategic plan and your tactics, let's schedule a half-hour consultation, just you and me. It's included in the cost of the program, so that you can confirm that you're on track. And remember how I said we all need a daily action plan? I've discovered that this can be challenging for a lot of people, so I'm going to give you that too, in the form of a weekly e-newsletter that I will send to you via email. Other than social media, which you should probably be doing as often as you can, hopefully daily, most of these marketing tactics only need your attention once a month. So I've got them all organized into a system, and every week I'm going to send you an email that spells out exactly what you should focus on that week. There are usually three, sometimes only two, things to do every week, and these tasks should take no more than a couple of hours each week. You can handle that, right? Each Art Marketing Weekly email will also contain ideas for things like social media posts, competitions you can enter, and I'm even throwing in pre-written content that you can drop right into your own e-newsletters that you'll send out to your followers. Each week's issue will also have some in-depth instructions on various marketing activities, so you can keep learning more as we go along. Now, this is important, really important. Maybe this funnel thing still doesn't feel right for you. Maybe it all sounds like it's all too much and you are just not ready to drink the Kool-Aid yet. That's okay. You can still use my program to set up your own strategy and choose your own tactics. And those weekly reminders of what to do each week will still keep you focused and organized. The program will work for you even if you're not ready to create a marketing funnel for yourself. Just like dieting and exercising, you can be as aggressive as you want to be or not be on my program. How quickly you see results depends a lot on how much time and energy you invest in working your plan. But it's entirely up to you to work at a pace that's right for you. Now, there's one other really great bonus feature to my Art Marketing Weekly program. I don't want you to feel like you're all alone out there in the world. So when you subscribe to my program, you'll gain access to a special private Facebook group where you can ask questions and share stories with other artists on the program. I'll be checking in daily and sharing my ideas too, so you can get my help when you need it. Let's support each other on this journey. Does this sound good to you? I hope so. I am super excited about my Art Marketing Weekly program, and I'd love to have you join me. I'm hoping that by this time you're saying, "So tell me the price already. How much does it cost?" Okay, how does $120 for 6 months sound? I don't mean $120 a month. I mean $120 for the entire 6-month program. That's the complete video package, the one-on-one consultation, and 6 months of my Art Marketing Weekly reminders. Now, if you just want to subscribe to the weekly reminders, or if you'd like to renew your subscription 6 months down the road, that's only $60. That's $10 a month. Now, let's say that you're really motivated to start using my program, but you're concerned that you don't have the time or maybe not the skills to get it all set up. I can help there too. For an extra one-time only fee of $475, I can set up your strategic plan and all the key elements of your funnel that you'll need to get started. And all you'll have to do is to maintain it. And by the way, if you'd like to shift some of the routine marketing activities over to me on a monthly basis, I do have premium packages available for that too. I'm happy to update your website, research competitions, and do all sorts of other tasks for you. They're all explained on my website, and I'd love to collaborate with you. Listen, I really mean it when I say that I want you to succeed. Helping other creative people succeed is my dharma. It's my purpose in life. And it's what has inspired me to design a program for you that's easy to do and that really works. Come on, this is a no-brainer. Your dreams are so worth $120. So subscribe to the Art Marketing Weekly program today. Make this year your best art year yet. Are you with me?